Welcome back to episode 19 here at Tech Headlines Today, your source for top tech headlines in an easy listening podcast. Do us a favor and subscribe or follow so you'll see all our upcoming episodes. And with that, let's get into it. Mercedes-Benz foresees EV-only production lines within a few years. Mercedes-Benz expects to have factories producing exclusively electric vehicles by the second half of this decade. The premium car maker will produce the EQE in Bremen later this year, and in Beijing and Tuscaloosa in the second half of the decade. The car maker foresees some of its production lines within factories switching fully to electric even sooner, production chief George Berger said in an interview with Reuters. Building a whole new battery electric vehicle factory takes time. We have taken another approach, Berger said. Mercedes is betting on the electric adaptation of the E-Class to boost EV sales as it shifts investment away from internal combustion vehicles. In 2025, Mercedes-Benz expects electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles to make up 50% of sales. Existing models of electric vehicles are built in factories also building internal combustion engines, with the batteries being transported by rail to other plants. Berger also said, down the line, battery assembly and production could be brought near to the car plants as the design of vehicles develop to integrate the battery more closely into the car. Teen framed for cybercrime files lawsuit. The family of a teenage girl from Florida who was arrested and detained over cyber threats she didn't make is suing her former school and Meta. Pembroke Pines Police Department, or PPPD, arrested the 13-year-old in November of 2021 for, quote, making a written threat to do bodily harm or commit an act of terrorism, and charged her with a second-degree felony. An investigation was launched after the threatening messages were sent to students and staff at Renaissance Charter School at Pine via Instagram on November 18th. The threats were reported to the PPPD on November 19th. The school was placed on a code yellow alert restricting movements in response to the threat. On January 18, 2022, police uncovered new evidence that exonerated the girl and implicated one of her supposed victims, identified as suspect number 1 as the sender of the threats. On Tuesday, the mother of the falsely accused teen filed a 12-page lawsuit in Broward County Circuit Court seeking damages in excess of $30,000 for the mental and emotional distress suffered by her daughter. Apple reality is getting real. Mark Zuckerberg said we'll hold our business meetings in virtual spaces and be represented by avatars, but it looks like Apple is building the more compelling vision. Apple is working on an operating system called Reality OS, which it often abbreviates as ROS. The operating system has appeared in pre-release builds, a GitHub repository, and even in App Store upload logs. Apple uses Reality in the branding of two AR-developed tools named Reality Kit and Reality Composer, and its operating system, Reality OS. Good reporting, leaks, and speculation all suggest Apple will ship a headset that will be used for both augmented reality and virtual reality in the next few years. Apple's Reality glasses will do augmented reality by capturing real-time video and superimposing virtual objects onto that video. For more information on the Reality OS, check out our show links. Raleighs' expanded Modulus e-bike line offers more power and range. The veteran bicycle maker Raleigh has revamped its strong-selling Modulus hybrid e-bike line with more power and range, increasing the range from 60 miles to 80 miles. Raleigh's Modulus Tour and Modulus Grand Tour both include Bosch PowerTube batteries, while the Grand Tour includes a larger 500 watt-hour battery and a brawnier Active Line Plus motor. All the bikes are available in the UK and Ireland with either a crossbar frame or an easier-to-mount low-step design. The entry-level model costs €2,199, while the Tour and Grand Tour cost €24.99 and €26.99 respectively. For the first time, an Israeli high-tech company is moving to a 4-day workweek. Companies are taking less conventional steps to win over high-tech workers in Israel, such as giving employees unlimited vacation time or allowing for a 4-day workweek. Sage, an Israeli R&D center specializing in small business management products, is moving to a shorter workweek, which is the result of the idea that the team has been working round the clock. Segi Baran, director of Sage R&D Center, found other companies who had switched to a 4-day workweek and found that the switch led to a decrease in employee pressure and an increase in employee involvement. Sage is piloting a program to reduce work hours and monitor employee satisfaction to determine if the program will last. Our enthusiasm turned into questions of how to make the company successful and prosperous, so we created a group agreement with some rules to follow to keep everything working smoothly and efficiently. Baran said that Sage's British parent company approved of the move and would follow the process closely to see if it is successful. Baran suggested that companies should consider moving to a 4-day workweek to improve employees' work-life balance, maintain high employee engagement, and increase diversity. Capcom announces that Street Fighter VI is in production. Capcom has announced that Street Fighter VI is in production and promised to elevate the fighting game to a new level for esports. The teaser trailer, released alongside the announcement, gives nothing away in terms of what to expect from the look or feel of the game. It's also possible, although unlikely, that we'll be able to play it this year, with Capcom stating in a tweet that more Street Fighter VI news coming summer of 2022. Capcom confirmed that the 6-year-old Street Fighter V had shipped 6.1 million copies. Although DLC packs for Street Fighter VI are inevitable, Capcom won't make the same mistake again, and we should expect a generous single-player experience from launch. Capcom also states that it is utilizing cutting-edge development technology, which most likely means Unreal Engine 5 is being used, seeing as Street Fighter V used Unreal Engine 4. Trump's Truth Social tops downloads on Apple App Store, many waitlisted. Donald Trump's new social media venture, Truth Social, launched late on Sunday in Apple's App Store and was the top free app available on the App Store early Monday. Trump Media and Technology Group, led by Devin Nunes, is creating Truth Social to appeal to users who feel their views are suppressed on more established platforms. According to a person with knowledge of the matter, Nunes was on the app encouraging users to follow more accounts, share photos and videos, and participate in conversations. Even as details of the app begin trickling out, TMTG remains mostly shrouded in secrecy and is regarded with skepticism by some in tech and media circles. It is unclear, for example, how the company is funding its current growth. TMTG is planning to list in New York through a merger with bank check firm Digital World Acquisition Corp., and stands to receive $293 million in cash that DWAC holds in a trust, assuming no DWAC shareholder redeems their shares, TMTG said in an October 21 press release. In December, TMTG announced it would raise $1 billion committed financing from private investors, which will be available once the DWAC deal closes. Mitigating cyber threats with the Mitre attack framework. There are many tools, platforms, and strategies that seek to mitigate and minimize cyber threats, reducing some of the burden and giving organizations the power to protect themselves from hackers. The threat of a security breach must not be ignored in any business setting, from the corridors of the multinational corporation to the offices of a startup. The Mitre attack framework is one of the best examples of cutting-edge, specialist commercial cybersecurity. For those unfamiliar with it, let's go over what it is, what it does, and how it can be used by companies today. While it might look like a typo, the Mitre attack framework is of course a shortened version of a longer phrase. The Adversarial Tactics, Techniques, and Common Knowledge framework was originated by Mitre's researchers in 2013 and sets out to explore how hackers behave so that their victims can defend themselves more effectively. At its core, it provides companies with a raft of information on how attacks are carried out and what the goals of their perpetrators might be. In the same way police detectives attempt to think like criminals to catch them, so too the attack framework mimics the actions of nefarious forces to counteract them in real-world scenarios. Mitre's attack framework is not the only toolkit for companies to use if they are worried about the growing cyber threats of the digital era. One contemporary alternative is the cyber kill chain from Lockheed Martin. This includes fewer tactics and techniques and does not offer the same level of detail on each as the attack framework. In addition, Mitre's solution is often preferred because it is catered more towards the cloud-centric market in which we find ourselves today. CIOs for hire. The rise of the contract CIO. Greg Taffet, a veteran IT executive, was surprised when the new title Gig CIO was coined, and even more surprised when the term was used to describe his work. Taffet says IT leadership who are not employees are now often called gig CIOs, fractional CIOs, contract CIOs, and even virtual CIOs. They work for several companies at the same time and stay with the company until they are big enough to hire a full-time CIO. Contract CIOs fit a niche needed in the labor market. They have challenges and potential pitfalls for both the hiring organization and for the CIOs themselves. A contract CIO is a great way to access talent you might not be able to access full-time, and can transform IT and then promote within an internal position or hire externally to carry it forward. Taffet, who has held multiple full-time staff IT and CIO positions before becoming a contract CIO, has seen the impact of hiring Taffet associates to serve as a secondary CIO. Various organizations hire contract CIOs for various reasons. Some organizations are too small to afford and keep busy a full-time CEO, and others need extra executive power for a short time. Chuck Lear, who offers fractional CIO services, says that some companies don't want to hire an outsider and set unreasonable expectations for a contract CIO. Lear says he has navigated some of those scenarios and has walked away from offers when it doesn't seem like a good fit. Those who favor stability over chaos and those who take more time to grow relationships may not be good candidates. YouTube introduces live rings to highlight when a channel is streaming. On mobile, a new feature called Live Rings will help users spot when a channel is live streaming by adding a red ring around the channel along with the word live. Live rings make it easier to spot which channels are live, and tapping on the live ring avatar will load the active live stream. The new feature follows an interface redesign for YouTube on Android and iOS earlier this month, although it's being rolled out slowly. The new design makes popular features more easily accessible, and the comment section is now just one tap away. Live Rings is clearly aiming to get users to content quicker, mirroring the same one-tap action to get you watching live content. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Subscribe, follow, do all the things, and we'll see you tomorrow.